Hi and welcome back to my channel. Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you to all my subscribers. Do really appreciate that. It does mean the world to me, and to all my new subscribers, thank you. So let's get into what I'm going to be doing. So today I'm going to be using the Christmas Blockbuster of 2024, and this collection one is the Cute Christmas, and this one is titled the Santa's Little Helpers. So you've got you've got Father Christmas, the little penguin, the reindeer, and the polar bear there with the Christmas tree and Christmas presents. You have my favourite, the penguins, and you have the Christmas bus with the Father Christmas, the reindeer, and the snowman. And then you have the sentiments here. So there's quite a few sentiments on this one. There is 4. There's a border strip. So the sentiment is sent with festive cheer. We wish you a Merry Christmas. No much fun. And then with love from the North Pole. And Santa stop here. So without further ado, this is the foiled cardstock with the Father Christmas on the right hand side there. Then we have the printed cardstock with the snowflakes in the corner with like a tree garland coming down the sides there. So they are the 2 pieces of cardstock and the top sheet. So what I've done so far is I've folded a 6 by 12 piece of cardstock, and I've got a little piece of cardstock here. So this is like 2.5 inches wide, and then what I've done is scored at 1, then scored at 2, so that gives you the 1/2 inch, so that I can adhere and stick this onto the edge of my card here to make a small stepper, and then that will stand up like that when it's completely done. So let's go ahead, and I need my red liner tape to stick this onto my card, and I can get my little pot out. So we're just going to come along on this, the shorter score bit here, and go all the way along. Use scissors to trim it off, and I do recommend that you give the red liner a bit of a score, down so that it sticks and the backing comes off without bringing the tape with it. And then put that in the bin, and then you bring in your blank card, and then butt it up. Like so. There we have it. Don't know if I should have gone that way really. So then your score in your fold is there, and that's how it will sit once it's decorated up. So because this the topper sheet is gold edged, silver edged, I've got a piece of oversized silver mirror. So then you're going to cut this to 2 notches under the 6. Make sure it's put up there on your trimmer, and then 2 notches under the 6 again. That's for the main part of the card. So that is going to be that way up for this side. Just don't want it to glare at you, so I'm turning it over for that reason. And then we need 2 notches under the 1, and then again it should be 2 notches under the 6 because I already did it when I cut it off, and that's going to be for the front part of the step. So that is all that we need on the silver. So put that there, and then for the card itself we're going to do this one at 4 notches under the 6, and then to get 4 notches under the 6 this way. Do it like that, and then that's going to be the main bit that goes in there, and then this one we need it 4 notches under the 1, so I'm going to bring that in and I'm going to cut that bit there, and then that's all we need to do for that. I'm just going to put my trimmer out of the way. You don't need that piece of cardstock at the moment. So, oh, dropped it. So you're coming in with your glue. So mine is the Clow All Purpose, just down the centre of there. And then I use the Clow Tacky Glue, which gives me a little bit of wriggle room if I need it to shimmy it across whichever way I need to. Just placing that down and then making sure I've got this the right way up. Just go onto the back again, and then a little bit on the back there, and then this goes onto the front piece here. Give it a bit of a shimmy over. There we go. Bring this one in, do exactly the same, using that on the back. And then bringing in your tacky again to go on there. And then bring this in. Like so. And we're going to bring this in. Oops, oh, don't drop it. And then the tacky on the corners again. And then this one is going to go onto this side, like so. So that when it's standing up, it doesn't always stand up that well on here because it's on glass. It doesn't like standing up on glass. So that'll stand up like so, like that. So now I'm just going to come in with my topper, which is going to be this big one for this one. Just pull them off, pull them off. Going in with my foam pads, because this one it doesn't really matter where you stick your foam pads because it's not going to be sitting above that 6-inch mark because of the size of this topper. It's quite a big topper really. So I'm just going to come in with some more foam pads down in the middle here just to give it a bit more support, like so. And press down. Normally when I do this kind of card I like to use the foam reel roll rather than the foam pad roll rather than individual foam pads, because me personally, using the foam pads, using the foam pad roll, it covers a lot of space a bit better than these little individual ones, but the choice is yours. I've just done this one because they were out and to hand. Another one there. So that's what I would do with big coverages like that if you need a lot of support. It depends on how much support you want to give a card. So what are we going to put here? Are we going to put him to the left or to the right or in the middle? I'm going to put him just slightly to the left. Okay, and then what I'm going to come in with is this little Father Christmas button kind of thingy, majiggy me what's it. And I'm going to come in with these little dinky ones, I think. Well, not dinky, but smaller than them other ones that I used. I don't know where I got these ones from, I can't remember now, but it's probably off of Amazon or somewhere. I think I'm going to put you, where am I going to put you? No, I'm not going to put you there. I've changed my mind, I think. No, I am going to put him up here. Let's put him just above the Christmas tree. Right, let's overlap him. Let's put him there, I think. And then for the sentiment, I was going to put "We wish you a Merry Christmas," which is going to go on that step bit. Okay, so now we pull him in. Pick these up, use these up. Couple more on there. Let's put one there. Let's put one there, and then I'm just going to use these little tiny bits that I've got left in them little gap. So now we're taking these ones off. And so this is me not having a plan in doing a card. I know again it's a 6x6 and it's more or less a straightforward card. Because I do like my simple straightforward cards. My more intricate cards are most probably ones that I've planned beforehand. So I'm just going to come in with them silver gems that I had before, these stubs. Oops. But I'm not going to put that many on there because as a matter of fact I'm going to leave no gems on there because these are for children, these ones that I'm making here, so I'm not going to place any gems on the ones that are for youngsters because I don't want them to swallow them if they go putting it in their mouth, if their parents give their child a Christmas card to open, if they're younger than the age. Yeah, so I'm not going to bother putting any gems. So if I'm doing cards for younger children, you will see me not putting any gems on them, just in case, as I say, they chew them off or they put them in their mouth or they fall off and they put them in their mouth. Yeah, so I don't want them to have a choking hazard on them for that reason. Older children, yeah, that's fine, but if it's for a youngster, then no. So that is card number 1. I'm just going to get put my teeth back in. I'm just going to get set up for card number 2 and I will be back with that one. Okay guys, I've had to do some of this off camera to get my measurements, so I do apologise. I will try and do one on camera for the next time I do one. So I've got 2 pieces of card here, 6x6. Cut a third piece, so that's 6x6 as well. And I've cut a piece of this one which is 6x6 also. Piece of acetate that is, at the moment it is 5x5. This piece of cards, no, 5.5 by 5.5, the acetate, sorry. This piece of cardstock is cut to 5x5 and that's a piece of adorable scoreable. Then I have 4 pieces of this, but 2 are 2.5 this way by 6 this way. And then these ones are 5 this way by 2.5 that way. So this gives you the box frame effect. But some of the steps I will go through as we go along. So 2 pieces of cardstock the same size, because you need that for stability unless you're using a blank 6x6 card. But if it's a box frame, you don't need to have it as a card, because it will either stand up on its own, or you can hang ribbon and it can be hung on the wall. You can make a little stand for it if you want it to stand up freely. If it won't stand up on its own, it depends on the weight of what's on the front of the card as well. So just sticking them 2 pieces together like so, and then I'm going to have to bring my scoreboard in to finish off scoring these, so you get to see where I score. So this is the 6x2.5, and I've lost my score tool. There it is. So all you score is at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2. So you do that on all 4 of the pieces. So 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2. So then it gives you the tab to stick it down with, the extra 1/2 inch. And then the last bit the same, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and then 2. Okay, so that gives you that. So I'm just going to move my scoreboard out of the way, and then we're going to come in with the 2 larger pieces first. So we're going to turn these into the scores, and I do suggest after you've done this bit that you do use your score tool to actually score down the edges, so you get that good burnish down. And then when you put this together, once you've scored everything, you'll have a little tubular, or a tube that looks like this, like a straw. Okay, so 1 piece of this you're going to stick down with your red liner tape, or whatever tape you use, and then you're just going to place that onto there, give it a good press, get your scissors handy and chop that bit off, give it a good burnish of that tape, and then peel the backing off. Now, the way sometimes to do this is fold that over so it's folded like that. I don't know if I've folded this straight, so let me just fold it again and then burnish it as I go, like so, without sticking it to the edge as well. So sometimes giving that a good burnish down will get it burnished where you want it, and then you place that down like so. And why are you being pesky? A bit wonky for some reason, I don't understand why. But there we go, creases come away somehow. But that's your first one. We'll try this again on the second one, shall we? Let's score as we go instead this time. So give it a score, give it a score, or burnish I should say on the score, give it a burnish, and then lastly this edge bit. So we score that down, and then this one, when it's folded, it should fit and squeeze on there. So let's get some tape onto this one as well now. This is the tricksy part of doing this style of card or box frame. So now we're going to burnish that down. Then we're going to pick at these and pull these off, hopefully. There we go. And then hopefully this one is going to do what I want it to do. Just burnish that down. Give that a good burnish after you've stuck it. And then it should open up like so. So you bring this bit in, and I always try and do this so that the bit that you've scored is the hidden bit. So we're just coming in with my red liner tape for these two pieces. Give yourself a score down. Peel that off. Hopefully it's gonna work. And then butt this up to the bottom of your card like so, and then that'll fold down as well. If you don't have a box card, you know, that you can use to put your card in after you've made it, so you don't have to flatten it, but they will flatten. Just trying to find the right side for this one. And trim that. And then peel that one off. And then you do the same with this one as you did with that first one. So you bring in your card, top, bottom, whichever way you want to look at it. Butt that up there and butt that to there. Give it a press down. So then you've got like this side kind of frame at the moment. So first off, before I do anything else, what I need to see is if this piece of cardstock is going to go in, or it might have to be a bit shorter. So what I'm going to do is trim off a couple of notches. So I'm just going to trim it down to 2 notches under the 5, and then I'm going to bring that card back in and have a look to see if that's going to work, or whether it needs to go smaller. No, that's going to be fine. So when you've got your other bit of framework in, that card's going to, that bit of card, you just stick that down and it's going to stick into there. I'm a little bit hot, guys. I'm just going to open the window, so just bear with me a second. I'll just let some air in here. It's because I've got my hair down, and I don't very often have my hair down, but I straightened it for a wedding, so, and I normally have it up in a ponytail, but I haven't put it up today, so that's making me even more hot. Plus all the lights I've got in here as well are really hot. I should have brought a drink in with me to have a drink of water at least. So let's go ahead and burnish these down. This cardstock that I've picked here is a little bit more giving than that one. That one's a little bit more, the thickness of that one's quite thick. I don't know what the GSM is of that one, to be honest. I can't remember. It was a piece of A4 cardstock that I brought a while back now off of Amazon, but I can't remember what the GSM is, so do forgive me on that one. And then we're just peeling that one off the same. And I've done that the wrong way around, and I haven't. It's cool, it'll work this way as well. Give that press down there. I was thinking I've done that back to front. It's alright, that's just done the job. And then again, oops, with a bit on there to stick it down to the card, onto the card. Snip that off. Give it a bit of a burnish. Take this off. Let's move that out of the way for the time being. This one is going to be down here. If I've done this right, it should fit, but it's not fitting for some reason. Why are you not fitting? I have to take a couple of notches. For some reason it's not fitting, and it should have fit because I did it at 5, not anything else. So I'm going to have to see if I can take a couple of notches off of that one. And then maybe it'll fit in a bit better. Yeah. Make sure you're on the inside. And you're going to go there, and you'll hold. When the other framework goes on, it will hold, and it's going to go that way so you don't see these holes, which you can use to put a piece of string in there so you can hang it, or a ribbon right through, thread it through, and then it'll hold up that way. Now we're going to put this in. So I'm just going to put some all-purpose glue on the back of there, and then some tacky glue on these 4 corners. And I think I'm going to hold it this way around, and I'm going to place it in there nice and carefully, and then just give it a whooshy around, a swishy around, and there we have it like that. So that's going to be like that. So before I put that on, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out my front frame. Okay, so bring in your trimmer, and you've got your piece of cardstock that was cut to 6 by 6. And then you take this in, and if you can't hold it, you can use tape, not like that sticky tape that I was just using on my thingies. So you need to take this up to half a notch, and then all the way down to the half a notch before the 6, so 5.5, and then you turn it, take it that way and do half an inch, and then up to the half an inch just there, and you turn it around, bring it back in to the half an inch, and then back down all the way down to 5.5, and then turn and do exactly the same. And then go back up to the half an inch, and then the frame bit, this bit, if you've cut it good enough, it will just pop out. You might have to use your scissors, or you can just pull it out. You can put that piece to the side. That goes over there like so. It should work just enough. And then this bit here, I need to do this exactly the same. So same process, half an inch down to 5.5. I can't really see it here where the half mark is, about there I think, and then turn it and do exactly the same. down to the 1/2 inch, turn 1/2 inch, back down all the way to that half, and then turn again, last piece, down to the 1/2 on your trimmer. And then again, it should release. If not, you just get your scissors like before, or you go back in your trimmer and trim until you've got the right bit. And this one hasn't gone right up because I couldn't see the notches, so I'm hoping that this will come out now. Okay, let's do it back this way. Let's put you in and see if we're going to trim it off. There we go. So we've got that bit now. So that's going to go around and sit on there. But before I do that, and before I do this bit, okay, right, now here comes the tricksy bit. So I've got these little, what I call jar lights, to put in here, but I don't know if it's going to, it will work, but I don't know if these are going to be too long. To go in this frame, because there's quite a lot of light string, quite wide, they're quite long. Just check. Yep, they do work. It's hard to tell it in this light though, but they do work. So let's see if I can do this. This will be the first ever time that I've done something like this on camera, to be fair. So we need that so that that bit stays out. So we're going to tuck that bit under there for the time being, hopefully. And we have to go round, but what we're going to have to do, I think, is go around a couple of times. But the thing is, I need to put this other piece of my card wherever you've gone, so that I can stick all of them down. Like so. Like so. And then put a bit of red liner tape on here. Like that. A pokey tool, peel that off. Oops, I've stuck that to my desk. So that's stuck down now. Just give it a press out and that will go into shape. And then we do this side. And I've just suddenly thought that I had to trim 2 notches off of this, didn't I, on the last piece. So I'm probably going to have to do the same. So we're going to do that before I take the sticky back off. And actually I'll do it this side, because I've got that overhang of that tape there. It's still got overhang. Let's snip that bit off. Let's pull this bit off. Like so, excuse me, got an itch. Let's bring this bit in. Give it a good squeeze so it goes back into shape. Then bring your card in and stick it down like so. So now I've got this bit, so that's going to be over the top because we need that to stick to the back of the card. So my feeling was with this one was I was going to put this in. I was going to try and go around and around and around. But I know they say you can cut these down, but I didn't. Just in case they don't work. Again, got a kink in that one. So this is going to be the hardest part now, because I've got acetate that needs to go on here. I've got frame that needs to go on here. The acetate needs to go over this bit with the lights underneath, and then this is going to come and sit sort of like central, and they should have the lights that shine through. So what I'm going to do is bring this all in, hopefully. It doesn't have to be in any kind of so I'm just going to place this in here, and if you want to, you can stick it down with some red liner tape, because it's not going to get seen. But it's a bit hard to try and do that when you're holding onto lights at the same time. So we'll give it a go anyway, because it's not going to get seen. So if you put it here and hold that bit down, and maybe hold that bit down, because then we need the red liner tape on this frame, or on the acetate, wherever my piece of acetate has gone. But for me to do this, I'm going to have to put it on something that so that I can see it when I'm putting this tape down, because there's nothing worse, you can't see this red light, you can't see where you're putting it when the acetate is the same colour as your glass, as your mat. So I always do mine on a piece of cardstock. I normally have a scrap bit of cardstock laying around, but I don't know where that's disappeared to at the moment. So we're just going all the way around this piece of acetate. And then back round to the other side. I'll give it a good burnish down in a second. And then we're going to put that across there. Give it a burnish down. I'm going to pull one of these off all the way. And then I'm going to pull this one just down a notch or so. I'm just going to burnish that bit over, that bit of red liner. I'm going to pull this one right off at the bottom, if I can. And there we go. And then the same with this side, put it down halfway, give it a bit of a fold over, and hopefully that'll stay there until I'm ready to pull it off. Oh, where are you stuck? Oh, you ain't going to get seen, I don't think. Let me just move my piece of blank cardstock out of the way for the time being, So I'm going to hold on to these bits here that are flapping down. Hopefully you're going to stay in there. And I've got to hold this at the same time as placing it down. Because this is what's going to hold the frame in place, hopefully. So let me get my pokey tool and try and poke these lights back into the frame, hopefully. No, it's not going to work with the pokey tool. That's it. You're good. You're good. Okay, let's go. So now we've got the acetate on there, we're going to have to put in some of the red liner tape just to hold all of this in place, because it's not going to hold it in place otherwise. Let's go across there, and I'll put this other frame on. I'm going to put some glue on this frame as well. I'm just going to come across there with that, and then a little bit down here. Just there. The only thing that I don't like at the moment is that this frame here has moved upwards, so it's not sitting how I wanted it to sit. It's gone in too far. So I didn't want that to sit up quite as bold as that. It's a bit better, because that's the bottom. That should be the bottom, really, I think. So let's go ahead and put these bits on. Let's pull this tape off. And this one. There we go. Now this one. So now I need to make sure I get this the right way around. Okay, this way. Stay. Let's bring in my plain piece of cardstock. Let's go this way. Now I'm bringing this bit of tacky for them corners. It's a bit splurgy, that one. Let's get this round the right way. Okay, I'm going to go this way now because I've kind of messed up a little bit. I don't know what happened there unless I go back that way. It does work. The lights are working. Well, it was until I took the backing off or undone the backing. Maybe I've put that one upside down, I don't know. Yep, that's it. And it's still working. You can't really see it in this light because the lighting is too bright in here. Now, what do I do with this one? Do I do them on big foam pads or do I do them on smaller foam pads? Because this is going to come and sit. It's supposed to sit in the middle. I've got a... I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit this in the middle. Before I do that, I'm just going to place these foam pads on here. These are 4mm thick ones, so they're quite chunky. But before I place that down and stick it down, I'm just going to stick that there for the time being. This is not gone to plan here, so I might put my sentiment down there. Sent with festive cheer, and then Santa stop here. So my sentiment's going to go down there. I'm sorry if you can hear a lawnmower. It just seems to be every time I'm in my craft room, someone's decided they want to cut the grass. So I'm just peeling this one off if I can get my finger underneath it. And this is going to go down here. So just across the bottom like so. Peel these off. This up there. Now, so if you can hear that more than you can hear me, I do apologise, because I've got my window open and it seems like they're right outside my window cutting the grass, so it's probably the people that do all the maintenance around this block. Oops, and you put the Santa stop here upside down. So Santa stop here in that corner, and then with this bit you can get a foam pad, stick it on the back, and just one of these. And then make sure you can kind of stick it. Don't want to stick it in the middle, so you can kind of stick it over here. It's just at the edge, and then with this you can just get some of your tape, like your masking tape, and you could then put this and stick that down on there. so that the workings of that are not going to move. And then you can put a bit of, you know, ribbon through there, and then let's see if I've got some blue. I've got blue, but I don't think I've got the right colour blue. I've got a bit of green that says Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas rather. Let's have a look at that bit. Let's take a bit of this. Should be big enough maybe. If I'm very good, which I'm not, I can try and thread that. Through there. Maybe it should have been a bit longer. And you can just tie a knot in it, and you can hang it up, kind of like that. Maybe they're not, it could have been a little bit higher, but you see what I mean. I'm going to put the light on. No, it's not. If I turn my lights off and I bring this up, sorry why it goes a little bit dark in here, but you can see the lights just about shining through on there. Okay, so that is that for that one. No gems, as I said, this is for like a child. So you don't really want children or young children getting hold of gems and stuff, so I'm not going to put any of them on there. So I'm going to bring in my first card, if I can get hold of it. So there's my first card, and there's my second frame display. Let me just turn them lights off. So that is that one, and that is that one. So that is the video for today, guys. Once again, thank you for watching, really do appreciate it. It does mean the world to me when you watch and when you comment. I do get back to every single one of you that comments or asks me any questions. I do try to answer them as best as I can. So until next time, because this has been quite a long video, I hope you've stuck with me till the end. Or if you haven't, then no worries. Or if you jumped bits, don't worry about that. Yeah, but anyway guys, that's it. So bye for now. Take care. Bye-bye.